In today's episode, we are covering part 2 of the 4 money mindsets. In part 1, we covered in detail what are the 4 money mindsets. In today, we're going to cover a step-by-step process that will help you to identify which mindset you fall under, and especially how your identity is keeping your money hostage. How is it that your identity is keeping you trapped in your current mindset? So let's get started. Let's do a quick recap on yesterday. So we talked about the 4 money mindsets, and those 4 money mindsets are follows. First one is in debt, people who are driven to borrow and spend. Second one are break even, people who cover the expenses but then they spend everything else. And there's third type, which are called comfortable. They save first, but they still have a poor mindset, not poor money mindset, but they still have the scarcity mindset. They still are, they think there's not enough, so they have to save. And then there's a rich money mindset. So there are 4 distinct mindsets that everybody falls under. And today we're going to talk about how how is it that you can identify which of those money mindsets is applicable to you. So starting off where we left off yesterday, once we identified the 4 money mindsets, then I want you to look into your life and then think about, all right, okay, so if that's the case, what am I currently doing at the moment? Am I that type of person who, and by the way, you can be in any 4 of these mindsets, regardless of your current income at the moment, okay, regardless. So I would hope that every single one of you would want to be in the rich money mindset, whether you make millions or not, in neither here nor there. You can have a rich money mindset and still, and be comfortably living on 6 figures. It doesn't have to be a millionaire, right? So, somebody with a rich money mindset can have a 6-figure annual income and live a very comfortable, happy life. You don't have to be making millions annually to have a rich mindset. The difference comes in how you behave once you actually receive money. Okay? Remember, there's a way of making money and there's a way of keeping and having money. And in the mindset you have, it actually primarily determines how much money you're going to allow yourself to keep. And this is why it's crucial, so that you identify which one of these is applicable to you. So going with this idea, but are you the kind of person who, when you make money, before you get your paycheck, you've already allocated everything where this money is going to go? So I'm going to spend £10 here, £50 here, and £100 there, and so forth. Are you that kind of person? Are you that person sort of borrows from your friends or your maybe family members and says, okay, let me borrow first, and then when the money comes, I'll pay you back? Emergency now and again is neither here nor there, but generally, if this is your general way of being, then you have a poor money mindset, and there's plenty of those people around. Okay, and they could be nurses, doctors, lawyers. People could be in professional occupations, yet they have this poor money mindset, and therefore they have already borrowed against what's their future income. A credit card, when people who live off the credit cards is another example. Okay, people who use credit cards a lot, and so they overspend, and so they're actually so they're paying with their future income plus interest and more, and that's why it's literally spiraling downwards. Okay, that's when debt gets out of control. The second type is, are you the kind of person who, as soon as money comes, you make sure you pay for all the expenses first? You should make sure you have enough, and you pay off the mortgage and the rent and the utilities, and make sure that you've paid off the bought groceries, etc. Are you that kind of person who manages money in that way? But then everything, any excess, any extra left over, like for example, if you get unexpected income or you get a bonus, you go out and spend it. You don't think of saving it, investing, and so forth. And your idea of saving is for specific objects only. You think, okay, I'm going to go to Mauritius next year, so let me put money towards that. Or I want to have Christmas, and I'm going to make sure I have a pot of money for Christmas. Or I want to have, I need to get the kitchen done again, etc. You know what I mean, right? So where you are saving for a specific task or a project, okay, so then that would make you the break-even person. Now let's talk about somebody who's comfortable. So are you the kind of person who, as soon as you make $100, you're like, okay, £50 here goes straight in my savings? Now you are not adventurous with savings. You make sure that these savings give you some sort of return on investment, but you're very keen on saving, not investing, because you're very you're risk averse. You don't want to take risk with your money because your money is everything, and you feel that somehow this money is going to run out. So you better make sure that enough money is kept on the side pocket, and so that you're saving all the time. You live very frugally, and you think you congratulate yourself for that. Well, I'm so good at money. I don't spend any money. I don't waste any money, and I save. Yet, if you think about it, if you were investing and using that money wisely, you could probably make a lot higher ROIs compared to where you currently are saving your accounts. Putting money in a bank is just a waste of money, to be honest. But I do teach certain strategies, because a certain amount of money in that account is essential to give you the kind of stability and energy around it, which we'll talk about another later time in a later episode when I talk about the 3 steps to cash flow mastery. So coming back to hand, so are you that kind of person? Are you somebody who likes to save first before you do anything else, and then you manage your expenses based on what's remaining, and you live very frugally? Okay, and there are plenty of people who've become millionaires like that, who've penny pinched, or who saved all their lives, and by the time they've had enough to be classified millionaires, they've died and left their money and the savings to their children. Right? So we have those examples too. And then the final example is rich money mindset. So are you the kind of person who thinks there's abundance everywhere, money is easy to make, and you value time over money, and therefore you are leveraging other people's time, other people's skills, so that you can make greater income for yourself and your business and for those around you? That is a rich money mindset. And you can be in any 4 of these categories, irrespective of your job. You can be doing manual labor, for example, working in a factory, and have a break-even or a comfortable mindset, or you could be in a professional background, in a professional job like a lawyer, a doctor, an architect, so forth, and have a poor money mindset and have spend all the money that comes in. Right? You remember the old phrase, keeping up with the Jones? So this is where it's crucial for you to understand which money mindset do I currently have. Now let's take a step further now. Let's talk about your identity and how that keeping your mindset trapped and and forcing it to stay in your current location. Now before we identify how your money mindset is trapped by your identity, let's work out what I mean by identity. Your identity is made up of different aspects of what you classify as you. So your socio-economic background, the location you live in, the place where you grew up, what you do for a living, what's your religious background you have, what kind of things do you believe in. These all things cumulated together determine what is your identity. And some of the paradigms that we get from our religious beliefs or from our socio-economic background or from the way we grow up is it puts on these blinkers or these glasses, tinted glasses on our vision, that we're unable to think any differently. They basically determine our paradigms around money, how we view what we can do and how much we can make, and what can we do to actually make money. This is setting your paradigms for you, and it's done by your social programming, as I discussed in previous episodes, that it's your programming around money does not come from you. You have not consciously chosen to think and believe things about money. This has been given to you, it's been handed down to you when your programming is done, when you weren't even aware of yourself between the ages of 0 to 7. Now, here's a key point, here's a key warning for you. If you're trying to manifest money with the wrong mindset, you will actually are in danger of adopting the wrong method. You'll feel like you're chasing your tail all the time, and you feel more and more frustrated with your financial situation. And this is where I find many people who they feel like I have the talent, I have the ability, and I have all the skills, and I still cannot make enough money to break out of this income bracket to be able to call myself a 6-figure or 7-figure or even 8-figure earner. Why is that? And the answer lies in your identity. What are you allowing yourself to believe is possible for you? And without it, you lose hope, you lose time, and eventually you lose all hope of financial success. And the thing is that there's also the danger of wrong resources. The problem is, if you have the wrong money mindset, you're going to be following these. Okay, so this, when this movie The Secret came out, loads of people came out with these gurus and went off to these gurus and tried to adopt the law of attraction techniques, which are very powerful if used correctly, and we will teach about those in later episodes. But if you are not familiar with the basic concepts of what makes them work in your favor, they're working all the time, but whether they're not working in your favor is dependent on certain things and certain factors. If you're not familiar with that, then they will work against you. So a lot of people have, been following these gurus and chanting affirmations, and they just don't work, or they take a very long time, and people lose patience before they can see the results. And this is why they give up, or they say, well, the law of attraction doesn't work. It actually does work all the time. It's always working. But whether you manage to make it work in your favor depends on what techniques and what tools you're using. There's also the danger of the wrong execution. So if you try the law, like I just say, if you try the law of attraction without success, you'll know that you end up losing more money. So not only are you following the wrong gurus and the wrong experts, if your money mindset is not correct, it's not, if you're not identified it and you haven't realized, okay, so what paradigms am I currently operating under? What you'll find is, you'll take one step forward and take 3 steps back, because the more you feed in energy into going in a certain direction and your programming is pushing in the other direction, remember, your subconscious mind is really, really powerful. It's like comparing your a pilot with a conscious mind and an airplane, and that's the power. And if the pilot is well trained and is familiar with programming of how to reprogram the airplane, it can fly anywhere in the world and actually manipulate every aspect of the plane. However, if the pilot is unfamiliar with the programming, is unfamiliar with how to operate the plane, then he is an amateur pilot, then he or she will struggle, and you'll probably end up crash landing somewhere. And this is what happens with most people when they try to use the law of attraction with a bit of knowledge here and there. And some of them, some of these so-called law of attraction gurus in following this. So the more you force the law of attraction to work for you, the more it works against you. And the more frustrated and angry and upset and annoyed you get with money, the further away that you're pushing away money. And this is something that you have to understand. Your current frustrations, your current anger around money not showing up, you being upset with money, it's not money's fault. You just have been operating under under a wrong operating system, so to speak. And when you've changed your programming, when you've changed the way you look and think and feel around money, money will start operating and appearing differently for you. Like the old saying, now it's my favorite saying, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. A profound statement. So this is very, very important. So let's identify what is your current limiting beliefs around money and what is your identity around money. And this will take us it won't take us long, but I want you to get a pen and paper. If you're listening to this in a car, or if you're listening to this while you're exercising, then I want you to come back to this episode, to this point, and actually do this exercise with me. It would really help you and really benefit. Who are you? Okay, I want you to tell me what's your background. Are you a woman? Are you a man? Are you what's your professional? What do you identify with? People identify with various things. I'm an Arsenal, for example, using the football as example. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm a Man United fan. What are you, right? In terms of just at every aspect of your identity, we want to get clear on that. We want to see where you are right now. What kind of car do you drive? What kind of job do you have? What kind of business do you have? If you have a business, are you a business owner? Are you an employee? Again, 2 different mindsets. Are you married? Are you single? Do you have children? Do you not have children? What age bracket are you? Are you 30? Are you 40? Are you 50? Every age bracket has different energy, different identity attached to it. So it's very crucial you get clear on all of that. Where did you grow up? What school did you go to? Did you get a degree? Did you get a postgrad degree? How did it impact you? What does your partner do? That your partner can have an influence on the way you see yourself too. They can either uplift or make us feel worse about ourselves, right? So these are crucial points for you to identify about yourself. So I want you to write those down. I want you to write answers to these points. I want you to write down, what is my social economic background? Where did I grow up? How did I grow up? Where did I grow up? Did I have money? Did I have money? I grew up, even though my father was a multi-millionaire when my parents separated, I grew up in East London, in a council estate in East London, and I went to state school. Okay, so that's my identity, that I grew up on a council estate. I also am somebody who was severely dyslexic. I wasn't aware of it at the time. I wasn't assessed until the first year of my university, my first year of my law degree. But I have been dyslexic all my life, and I'm severely dyslexic. So that's another part of my identity, right? The aspect of my identity, the part of myself that I identify with. I'm a female. I'm a brown girl living in a Western country. That's another part of my identity. Okay. So where did you grow up? I would say, I grew up in London. Did you grow up in the suburbs, in the city? Which part of the world? Because I've had clients who've grown up in the communist countries who've come over to the UK, and they still are dealing and processing through the stuff that they went through growing up as a child in these communist countries, right? So these are things that are going to go into influencing your identity, things you don't even question on a daily basis. It's just who you are. You accept that this is who I am who I am, right? Not necessarily you can change, but do you want to change? That's the question, right? Another one is religious background. One of the things that I find people have being held back with money the most is their religious beliefs. It's what they think that God wants them. And for some reason, there's this false notion that people have bought into, that somehow there's nobility in poverty and there's something disgraceful in being wealthy. That somehow God values and is happier if you're poor, and is angry and is upset with you if you try to attain wealth, which is absolutely a ridiculous notion. Yes, divine source energy or God or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or Buddha or Rama, whatever name you want to give to this deity, yes, they would be upset if you are attaining money through fraudulent means, through causing people harm, etc. That is a whole different conversation. But why would any God be upset with you for wanting to have greater wealth to allow you to feel and experience this life that we've been given, which is a very finite time? Remember, we're not here forever. We're only here for, if we're lucky, between 80 to 100 years. And you want to enjoy it fully. You want to live to the extent. You want to be able to enjoy all the luxuries of this life. You want to be able to go and travel everywhere. You want to be able to have exotic foods, and you want to be able to live physically in the spiritual world to the best of your ability. Why would any God not want to do that? And also, not just you, but those around you. You can help and support financially for those people who are not in the same privileged situation as you, or don't have the access to the kind of facilities that you do. Which God would not want that? That really, really blows my mind of thinking, why do people behave that way? I have a cousin, she's my aunt, but she's my age, so, we call say cousins, but in technically she's my dad's cousin. And I remember having this conversation with her, and she just said, because she found out that I had changed and I was no longer operating or no longer working as a lawyer. And she said, so what do you do? And I told her I was a money mindset expert. And she said, well, what is that? And she's so I don't wear the hijab, she wears a hijab, and she's an Islamic scholar. And she's a very well-known Islamic scholar. And she said to me, well, I said to her, I help people change their relationship and ideas and mindset around money. And she just began to laugh. And I said, what's so funny? I don't see the joke. And she said, well, you teach the opposite of what I teach. And I said, well, what do you teach? And she said, I teach people how to live, be happy with that money, how they shouldn't really go for this life and they should go for the hereafter, and how, money will corrupt them, etc. So they shouldn't really be going after money, and money is not important in this life. And I found that conversation absolutely amazing, because this is an intelligent Islamic scholar, this relative of mine. Yet she was somebody who drove a Jaguar. She's somebody who dressed the children head to toe in designer wear, and it was okay for her, but not for other people. And if she's able to do that, if she can afford it, why would she not want people who follow her also enjoy those luxuries? I didn't understand her point at all, and I even questioned, where in the Bible, or where in the Quran, or where in the Bhagavad Gita, where in the Torah, where in the Old or the New Testament does it say that, making money is bad, right? The greed for money, it can be questionable. And that's something that we want to pull away from, the need and the greed for money. But I actually having the desire, an honest desire to make more money so you can live better, your family can live better, and so you can support other people to live better, what's the harm in that? What's wrong with that? And this is what surprises me when I say, well, I'm a money mindset expert and I help people change their relationships with money. People say, well, isn't money, like, if people who want money, too much money, they're just, they're insecure and they're overcompensating for something, or they're not really, they're just not very confident, and they're not really sure of themselves. And I find that conversation really astonishing. Don't you think Richard Branson's very intelligent, and don't you think he's quite sure of himself? It's got nothing to do with not being sure of yourself. If anything, in order for you to make money, you have to have the confidence to be able to articulate your views, to be able to know, okay, I know I want to get to X, Y, Z, and this is the route I'm going to take, and have the, they have the courage to make difficult decisions and the gumption to stick to them. And it does require quite a lot of discipline. That's why not every single person is cut out to be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is a hard journey. Okay? And it's a lonely journey at times, especially in the early days. So coming back to this point, what is your religious background? What do you believe in? What have you been led to believe as a child? I'm not saying people are, corrupt or not corrupt. However, money is just a magnifier. Money will magnify what's already in the heart. If you are amazing, gorgeous, sensitive, sensible, a loving, compassionate individual, money will magnify that. If you are self-centered, conceited, egotistical, narcissistic maniac, money will accentuate that too. So this is why I want you to sit down and write out what is your current, what is your identity. That's the first step that I want you to write down. Now, I want you to, for example, and the reason why I'm going to give this thing to you is, going back to my example, which I told you about in episode 1, I spoke about my journey and how I actually manifested my mother's exact life. It's very difficult to get your head around. How does a woman who's got a law degree from the University of London, who's a barrister and who's working as a banking and finance lawyer, became a property millionaire at the age of 27, go from that to a single parent on welfare? How does that happen? And how does she become a victim? How does she allow herself to be abused, and so severely abused, and to be so broken, right? This is, again, where the mindset comes in, where the energies comes in, because we have certain mindsets around certain concepts, around certain beliefs, which we don't even question. And this is the point of the last 2 episodes, for you to start questioning your current beliefs. I want you to know that sometimes it's not what you don't know, it's what are you currently believing in. What is it that you know that you think is just black and white? Is there some grey matter there that you can okay, maybe what I believed in so far could be, slightly different. I could start thinking differently. That's the example. For example, like I said, a woman who's highly educated, strong-minded, as I was, once became a single mother, takes on the identity and struggles at the time with money. Okay, so when I became a single mother, I took on the identity of a single mother struggling with money. That's the power of mindset. So step 1 is, I want you to write down everything that makes you who you are. Step 2 is the fun part. Step 2 is, okay, so now that we've identified how I'm looking at myself and what I identify with, what is it that I want to identify with? First of all, what kind of money, how much money, income or money do I want to make? I mean, what do I want to make on an annual basis or a monthly basis? So, and I would encourage every single one of you who aim to become a millionaire, which means in order for you to be a millionaire, you need to be earning at least 6 figures on a monthly basis. So in order for you to make 6 figures on a monthly basis, okay, so what kind of mindset would I have? What kind of things would I identify with? What kind of place would I live? If I'm making 6 figures on a monthly basis, which location would I live? Which car would I drive? Who would I associate with? How would I see myself? Of course, you have the same friends, but even some of your friends may change. And this is one I'll do another podcast on this, completely different. It's a topic in itself of why people, why do old friends change or fall away as you gain more wealth, because that's energy related. But who would you identify with? What would you identify with? And what would make you you? So write that down. Who do you want to be? For example, a person who, if you're a 6-7 figure earner, what qualities would that have? So if you're earning 6 figures on a monthly basis or even annual basis, what qualities would that person have? What kind? And obviously there'll be, unless you're in a very high executive job. You're going to be earning 6 figures in your own business. Well, what kind of budget does an entrepreneur have? Or a 6-figure earner have? Online or offline, doesn't really matter, right? What would they wear? Where would you go? How would you show up in the world? How would your what would happen to your confidence? How confident would you be in your ability to create, make, and have wealth? Okay, really spend time during this and identify with who you want to be, and think about it very, very carefully. Okay, so this will actually show you where you are right now and where you want to be. This is why today's episode is so powerful, because it will show you the gap between the two, where you currently are and where you want to be. It doesn't take that long to adopt a new identity and move on to become that person. But if you're not even recognizing the distance between the two identities of where you are right now, which is currently keeping your mindset trapped in your current mindset, and where your future identity is with the new rich money mindset, you have to see that on piece of paper, black and white, before you can make the decision to change and move forward. I hope you found today's episode and the last one we did really useful in identifying your money mindset and then applying it to your life and seeing how it could help you. If you're getting value from these from this podcast or this the video series, please leave us a comment, and please do leave a review for us too. And if there is a topic that you wish for me to cover, there's a topic that you want me to do an episode on, either on the podcast or the video series, then please contact me on our business website, which is www.gullkhan.com, and contact us throughout the contact us page, and let me know what episodes you want me to do for you, and I will go ahead, and if it's within the money mindset area, I will do that for you. Well, and I really hope you're enjoying this as much as I'm enjoying doing this for you. Please do leave us a review. We do value your review and we do value your comments. I do go and look at all the comments, and I do appreciate all the love and affection you've been giving me. I am humbled by the amount of love that I've received. Please continue to do that. I need your support, and that's what motivates me to carry on more and to carry on doing these episodes and carry on working. So until the next time we meet, this is Gull Khan signing off.